Okay, cool. Thank you for joining the call. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're feeling good and in great spirits. Welcome to the third session of the Africa VUCA Skill Ups for Cohort 2. And it's really good to have you all here. I don't know where you're all joining from, but I'm really happy to have you all here. And I hope you're all doing and feeling good this morning. So I'll be co-leading today's session. My name is Lynn Kamande. I'm the Africa regional organizer at 350, and I will be leading with my colleague. I'll let him introduce himself, and I'll also let my other colleague introduce herself as we continue to let in people into the space.
Thank you, Lynn. Good morning. I hope you are all doing well this morning. We are so happy to have you with us during this Skill Up session. We're going to talk about action plan. My name is Christian Cano. I hail from Benin Republic in West Africa, and I am a Francophone regional organizer. I work with Lynn and Rukia on this call. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Christian. I'll let Rukia introduce herself. Rukia?
Good morning, friends. Rukia Hamis, based in Nairobi, and yeah, just here to support and looking forward to the session. Over to you, Lynn.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. So a warm welcome once again. I hope your morning has started off on a nice start. And welcome to the third session again of the Africa VUCA Skill Ups for Cohort 2. Like Christian said, it's going to be a really interesting session. We're going to be engaging, we'll be participating, and we're going to be building on a useful tool for building projects. Cool. So just to kind of ground ourselves in the moment and to present the session, to open up and to kind of set the tone for the session, I'll ask you on the chat to share where you're joining from. You can do this with an emoji, to share like a flag of your country, or to share an emoji that describes how you're feeling, how you're arriving into the session feeling today. Good morning, Asma. Welcome. Bonjour. Bonjour, Dombi. Thank you, Crispin. Welcome. Also to note, we have French interpretation available. So if you prefer English or you prefer French, click on the globe at the bottom of your screen, in the interpretation globe, and select your preference, if you prefer English or if you prefer French. Good morning, Deborah. Welcome from Nigeria. Welcome, Tabang. Welcome, Sepo. How you guys feeling? I need some emojis of how you're feeling this morning. Welcome, David. Welcome, David. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Asma. I'm feeling great. Thank you, Lakina. Mohammed, you feeling cold? Serious cold. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Get better soon. Deborah is feeling excited. Thank you, Deborah. We like your energy. Oh, it's actually raining in Sierra Leone. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys, for the engagement. I appreciate it. All right. For today's session, we're gathering to explore action planning as a tool for building projects, like I said. And by the end of the session, we hope that you'll walk away with key outcomes and also a practical tool. But before we go into deep discussions about our main topic, we'll do some formalities and also kind of touch on the sessions that we've had before, the two other sessions that we've had before on renewable energy and building your projects as we tie it into the session that we'll have today. So as a reminder, again, this session happens every 2 weeks. So this is the third session of the cohort 2. And every session happens on Thursday, like today. So the next session will also be happening in 2 weeks' time. And also as a reminder, of course, we are the Africa VUCA Network. Please join our website, have a look at all the projects that we have a look at all the resources that we have available. They are all for you all to explore and to use for your projects and for the work that you're doing for climate justice and movement building. So we also have a WhatsApp space where we engage. If you don't have access to the WhatsApp space, please let us know and we'll add you, or we can direct you to you can join the space. So as I said, the first session was around building community projects based on the community, getting inspired by the issues that the communities are facing and finding ways where we can link that to our work in campaigning and organizing. And then our follow-up session at the end of July was identifying the gaps that the community is facing and diving into some of the organizing strategies and how we can move along those spaces so that we can create system shifts. So to build up on that, today's session will be about making a plan, using a template, an action plan template, and filling it in based on some of the issues that we're facing in the community, and finding ways to strategize around creating your project and implementing it to make sure that it is successful and it is creating the system shifts that we all want to see. So the session will be really engaging and interactive. As I said, Christian and I will be leading the space. We'll have a deep dive into the action planning, and then we'll break out to groups where we set up scenarios and work to complete the action plan. I'll invite Rukia to touch on the expectations that this session will have on the overall objective of this EV skill ups, and also how this session will build into the final project of the final work that we'll have working together in this space. Welcome, Rukia.
Thank you, Lynn. Good morning again, everyone. So just a few key reminders before we begin is one, as Lynn and Christian will be taking you through the action plan, please keep an eye out to ensure that you make a copy of the template that you're getting And once you've made the copy, make sure you've saved it as your group copy. So the name of the group you're representing in this space. That way, you'll be able to share it back to us. Even if it's in draft form, you can share to myself, Christian, and Lynn. And then from that, we'll be using it to guide you in the next few steps. Once you've completed I think after the session with Lynn and Christian, you'll have an idea of how to build up the scenarios and create your own draft. So you're expected to complete the draft action plan, the template that you copied or made a copy of, before or by the September 4th. The two last sessions, which is September 4th and September 18th, we'll be talking about storytelling and digital campaigning. And we need you to have your draft plan or project before that time so that you can be able to figure out what tools you want to use for social media and digital media, and at the same time, what tool do you want to use for storytelling for that specific project that you've worked on. Then finally, only once you've completed an action plan can you get certification for this training session or this training cohort. So please, we encourage you, use this space to actually start thinking about how you can put those ideas together in your own groups. Even if you have a draft, we can always support you in terms of completing that assignment before the end of the session, which is September 18th. And then as well, once you have a completed action plan, you can now join the fundraising community of practice. So this is a space where we now do trainings around how to fundraise, and we share opportunities for fundraising so that you can now work towards raising funding for the project that you've highlighted in your project plan. So I hope that's clear to everyone, but in case you're struggling, we'll share this. I think as the sessions goes on, you understand deeper how to do that and how that looks like. Thanks, Leah.
Thank you, Ruki. Yeah, as Ruki said, in case that was not clear, we'll also try to break it down as we go. Make sure that you guys are kind of understanding the flow and also understanding the expectations, not only of this session, but of the overall skill up sessions. I'm going to invite Christian to start to introduce the action plan. And then from there, we'll develop the plan as we go and then figure out the next steps.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Rukia. Yeah, as Lynn said, we have our interpreter in the room. Kiki is here to support in terms of interpreting everything that we are saying. For my Francophone friends and people, please find the globe and select French so that you can listen to everything in French. Okay, Lynn, would you mind sharing the screen or yeah, for the slides?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
cool. So this is a space for experiences sharing. To be very clear, we are not here as teachers. We are here as organizers, climate activists, and we want to share, we want to hear from you, we want to engage, to learn from each other. And the action plan that we are going to talk about today is the one we often extract some parts. Thank you for the slides. We extract some parts to ask for your actions, your activities, your event details. So we're going to walk you through the action plan today. And we use it for our regional mobilization, like Africa VOCA Day, Africa VOCA mobilizations. And we also use it during the key moments like COP and yeah, and so. So the first slide, the first part, we start here with the vision and the campaign overview. And what we have on the first, yeah, the first point is the project name. The project name, that's very important. You see, The project name, your campaign title should be concise, impactful, and emotionally engaging. That's very important, guys, because when you receive, for instance, when you receive an email, what do you see first? The thing that catches your attention first is the subject, right? It is the title. Sometimes the way you write your objects, your subjects, your title determines how fast you get a reply from the person who receives your email, your messages. Did anybody here experience that and want to share? Maybe the name, the project name, the title of the email that you sent. It is very important that it should be concise, impactful, and resonate with people, emotionally engaging. So, as Lynn said, we're going to have breakout sessions and work on 2 cases, on 2 scenarios, and you together we're going to see the title for the 2 cases, and you will see that the title are very important. The 2 titles for the 2 cases for the project that we're going to touch in the breakout. Then we have the vision statement. This is also a very important part of our campaign, our project, our initiative. The vision for change is very important. What is guiding our work? It is very important to clearly state that, to clearly work through that, what is guiding our work, in what better future we want to live and we want our communities to live. That is our vision statement. That is our vision for change. And this is also very important. Sometimes we do not need to recreate or reinvent the wheel, you see? Sometimes we can just align or build on something existing, but our vision, we need to have very clear vision statement. Our vision for future, where we want to see our communities and ourselves live in future. Very important. Then we have the next slide, the problem and what needs to change. The problem that we want to address and what needs to change. The challenges that we are addressing, that's also very important to outline the key problems and to describe what needs to change in the system, in policies, in narratives, or sometimes it could also be the behavior of people. Yeah, it could be behaviors. So we have, for instance, huge renewable sources to power our communities. However, we still have fossil fuels expansion. So what do we need to change? How do we want to change this? Maybe by tackling the local resistance, strong and local resistance, by also communicating around the alternative, and by now touching the policies that help what we want, the future that we want to live, in the future that we want to live, the future with renewable energy initiatives. So policies, solutions, and strong local resistance are the important part of the changes that we want. The need for change is very important. The system, the policies, the narratives, and sometimes the behavior of people. Now, when it comes to strategies for change, here we want to see some transformation in how we will drive the transformation that we want to see. It is also very important to work through how we want to see that transformation happen. Yeah, so it could be by addressing cultural change, institutional disruption, or amplifying the solutions, as I mentioned before, by insisting on solutions. What, as grassroots communities, frontline communities, what we are doing, how we are engaging media, how we are working through storytelling, how we are taking public actions to shift narrative, to engage communities, and to put pressure on institutions. It could be local institutions, national institutions, or regional institutions. That is how we drive the transformation. And that is part of our strategy for change. And to make that happen, we need to work with people because we cannot do it alone. That's where we see allies, that's where we see influencers. People who can help us to make the change that we want happen. Because we cannot do it alone, we need help from other people. And they could be in power or not. And for that, we will work with young people, we will work with communities leaders, we will work with journalists, we will work with advocacy network, we will work with the network, the movement, to strengthen our collective impact. That's very important to also have in mind. That alone, we cannot do it. We cannot make the change happen. That's why we have AV Network, where you can connect with other organizers, you can connect with other campaigners to listen to other stories, to listen to what they are experiencing, their challenges, the lessons. And now from that, you can build your own campaign, you can build your own strategy, you can build your own work with the support of your communities, with the support of the journalists in your area, with the support with the network. That's also important to take into consideration. Then we have to set a goal and objectives. Our goal, Lynn, the last slide, sorry, here, on goal and SMART objectives. Our goal and our next steps are also very important in that work. State clearly a specific goal and break down SMART objectives to support that goal. And when we say SMART, it needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, inclusive, and equitable. For instance, over the next 12 months or so, what the campaign, what your work will prioritize. It could be consultations, engagement, coalition or network building or visibility, work stream launch, or public engagement, public mobilization. You need to have a specific goal and break it down into SMART objectives, very specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, inclusive, and equitable. So I have an example of goal, the example of mobilizing, for instance, 1,000 people across 3 cities to demand a heart-to-wall expansion. A SMART objective for that, some SMART objectives for that could be train 30 communities organizer, and you mention the date by when you want to train them, launch 3 actions by when you want to have the actions, and generate, for instance, media, draw media attention, media hit on your actions on the ground. So it is important to have very specific goal and break down that specific goal into SMART objectives that are very specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, inclusive, and equitable. And we are going to work in the breakout group on cases and come with something that we're going to share. And from that, some learnings, from challenges in our main discussion after the breakout. Let me stop there and back to you, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Just as a continuation of the building your action plan, to touch on what Christian has said around setting your objectives, your goal for your project, and setting up realistic goals. It's also very important to focus on the key messaging and your demands. So you want to have a core idea of what your demands are and what your key statement is for your audience, whether it's the media, the decision makers, or the people you're trying to influence. So it's very easy. It's very important when you're setting up your key messages that it explains the problem clearly. So for example, maybe a community is struggling with energy access. The kids are not able to use electricity at school. The businesses at home are your problem is coming out clearly. And then highlighting why this is important, why this matters, and pointing out a solution or a pathway that you think would help to alienate or to solve the problem for the community, and also to inspire from the people you're targeting, again, whether it's decision makers or public policy makers, legislation, and so on and so forth. Once you've done that, it's also important to figure out what are your indicators of success. So you have your issue and you set up a clear way or a clear solution. So how are you going to measure success of your project? So it's important to identify key success indicators that are clear and that are tangible, and they show the shift from the issue to the solution, and also highlight the realistic outcome of what exactly that you're doing, so people can be able to align with it and they can see clear, visible solutions to the issue that you brought to hand. So these indicators might include visibility or engagement. Is your message resonating with the media? Is it resonating on social media? And is it also inspiring change? Is it inspiring participation from the community, from your target audience and partners and allies? Also, are you inspiring change? At the end of the day, we are here to create system change. So it's important that you are creating policy shifts or institutional responses to some of the demands that you brought forward. As you're building out your action plan as well, it's very important to look at the assumptions and the risks. So with assumptions, we mean try identify how you think the system will respond to your demands and respond to your action. With this, it's important to do this because it will weigh your project and see if it's viable for success, and then also link it to the risks. So it's important to also do a risk assessment plan and figure out, are there any ways that our plan can fail? Can we face any resistance? And if we can face any resistance, what resistance will it be, and at what level? So it's important to weigh the risks, not only for you and your organization, but also for the community, for your partners, and so on and so forth. So we've linked on the project plan that we'll share shortly. There is a risk assessment plan, which really breaks down an example or an illustration that you can all draw from. So it breaks down the risks, and then you can categorize them based on, what level of risk they are. And once you do this, you'll find that it's easy to come up with mitigation strategies. So you're able to kind of come up with safety protocols. You're able to be flexible with your planning for your project. You're able to create a transparent system of communication. And also you're able to center the community. So you make sure that they are all safe and are free from risk. Another key important part of action planning is tracking and measuring your progress. So as Christian said, once you've set up your goals, it's important to track, especially SMART goals, which are measurable and achievable. It's important to measure quantitatively and qualitatively how you're progressing, if they are succeeding. So these are numerical and non-numerical indicators of success. And there are different ways you can do this. You can use engagement levels or the reach of your project to see if it's aligning with the community, if it's aligning with some of your key targets. Also weighing behavior and attitude shifts, which is always the goal once you're coming up with a project, to have some impact in behavior and in attitude. People start thinking differently and acting differently towards the issue. And also, in terms of partnership and collaboration, it's important to weigh out if allies are aligned with your goal, if they see the value of your goal or your project, and also tying it into the narrative shifts as well. And of course, system shifts and all of that. Finally, once you've come up with all the key factors of your action plan based on your project, you need to come up with a budget. And this needs to align with the approved budget structure. So for example, when you're submitting a proposal, you know how much the proposal is willing to fund your project. So you have a general idea of what you're working with. And it's always preferable to set a budget in USD. And some of the key cost items that you need to identify for your budget is logistics and operations. So make sure that you're covering costs such as transport, equipment, and venue. For example, if you have an event, you're going for a community engagement. You're also covering some facilitation and coordination fee for speakers, training, team support, and then some comms, of course, and media. As you know, some cost goes into creating content. Maybe you have a consultant who does your design and your publicity, so you need to bring that out into your budget. And also bring in some of the materials. As you know, you need banners, you need printouts, you need all these other materials. And also covering the monitoring and evaluation aspect. So as we said, when you're doing monitoring and evaluation, you need to bring out the qualitative and the quantitative elements. So some of this require some surveys. You need to do some documentation and reporting, which needs to come out of your budget. One thing I think also is important to cover in your budget is always the extra costs that can cover things like the issue with currency, especially for the global south. You know, the currency is always fluctuating. So you need to also have some funds to cover for that as well in your budget. So up to there, we're happy to take any questions or thoughts. If anything maybe didn't come out as clear, or you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to come in and share.
Maybe before the questions, we want to hear from you, from your experience, from your work. As we said in the beginning, this is a space for experiences sharing. So we are happy to hear from you on the budget. On the budget aspect, that as Lynn said, it is very important to also show to mention your own contribution in the budget. Always good to mention your own contribution. It could be non-material thing that you are going to add, you are going to bring to the work. It is always good to mention that, so the donor they know that you are also contributing in what the communities are also giving. It is also very important to mention what the communities you are working with, they are also adding to the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. I see a question from Mohammed. He's asking, how do you develop a sustainability plan? Kristen?
That's a good question for everyone here. Let's see if we have answer from one of the participants, maybe. Okay, so I think I can start. I can start by saying to develop a sustainable plan, you just need to apply everything that we are saying here. You just need to apply everything that you are getting through this session, because the Canva that we are sharing, we have the questions that can guide you to work a sustainable plan, to work a sustainable and impactful project. So just apply everything that we are discussing here, and we have more materials that we can share with you. And as I said, it is very important to also build on the existing work. It is very important to show that maybe you are not starting something new, and you already have some results, you already have some outcomes, and you want to build on them and have more impact and have more outcomes and have more results in your communities, on the people that you are engaging, and also more results, policy results from your engagement with the policymakers, with the government, and with the institution, the local, national, and regional institution. It is sometimes very good to mention the existing work. It may be not from you, but from other people, from other network, what they have done before. It is very important to build on that. That's what I can say, and also apply everything that you are receiving here and use all the documents, the materials that we post and we share through our network, AV network. My colleague Rukia maybe also want to add, Lynn.
Yeah, I think I can add on what you said. I think first strengthening, making sure that your action plan is strong. So you're assessing the gaps that are in your action plan. You're measuring the feasibility. You're also creating a sustainability framework that touches on resources. So you're making sure that you do have the resources that you need for mobilizing, for organizing, and making sure that you also figuring out the capacity. What capacities do you need to be addressed? And then also linking it to, as we said, policy and system integration. Whenever you are aiming to influence policy shifts, it makes your work continuous, and there's always that constant external input as well. Linking it also to the community ownership, I believe, when you're deepening your community involvement, you're building champions, it makes sure this ensures that your work is carrying forward, and you also have some members of the community who are pushing forward the work. So it really creates a sustainable project for you as well. Another thing we've touched on briefly was doing the evaluation and analysis. So you're making sure that you're creating feedback and you're always learning. So you're always in like a learning loop. So you're taking what you've done, creating lessons from it, learning from some of the mistakes maybe and failures, and finding ways to adapt as well. I think it is very important. I hope that was helpful and answered that question. Any other question?
I saw a comment from Ndela in Senegal. Yeah, she said this action plan is the one we use for during the AV day. Yes, I said that in the beginning, Ndela. We don't share the entire action plan when we ask the details of your activities, when we ask the details of your events. You see, we don't share the entire action plan here. This gives you more ideas when you want to write your campaign, when you want to write your projects, and give more details and give more, let's say, speak more on what you want to do. And to add on the previous question, I want to insist on something. What is the way that you outline the key problems? That's also very important. If you miss on that point, you miss on everything. If you miss in identifying the key problems, you miss on everything. So it is very important to go to the communities, to have meetings with them, and clearly come with the key problems, the key issues, and also describe the needs to change that problem. It is also very important. You don't need to just sit in your office because you already know what is happening, you start writing without consulting, without talking to people experiencing the issue, experiencing the problem. We mess sometimes and we miss on outlining the key problems, and we don't come with the real changes. We don't come with the real need for change sometimes. Thank you. Back to you, Lynn.
Thank you, Christian. I see a question from Deborah. She's asking, I don't understand the group we are supposed to work with, this action plan. Is the group you shared here in the first meeting we had? I'm not sure I understand your question, Deborah, but let me try to address it. So we've discussed the action plan. We've broken it down on what it entails, some of the key important information that you need you need for your action plan. So we are going to go into 2 breakout groups where we're going to attempt to fill in the action plan together in the 2 groups that we're going to be in, working on 2 scenarios. So we came up with some scenarios for each group. So we're going to use that scenario to build out the action plan. And then, as Rukia said, for you guys, so this is just like an example, like we're going to work on this together, but outside of this, beyond this period, we're going to also challenge you to use the action plan by yourselves or as your organization to build out an action and then share it with us. So we've shared the action plan template. You're supposed to make a copy, share it with your team, and come up with a completed action plan based on an issue that you have or an issue that you're working with in your own organization. I hope that was clear. I hope that helped to clarify things. Good. I don't think there's any more questions. Maybe we can jump to the breakout groups. But before we go into the breakout groups, we'll share the scenarios that we're going to be working with. Just a minute, I'll share the screen again. Okay, so we're going to go into 2 breakout groups, one for the Anglophone groups and one for the Francophone group. And we created 2 scenarios, one for each group. In this scenario, we're going to build out our action plan together. So the first scenario is based in a small town in rural Ghana. They have a local clinic and a primary school at the heart of the community. But every week, the diesel generator at the clinic breaks down due to fuel shortages, and the teachers struggle with the dim lights. The nurses deliver babies by torchlight. So some of the challenges they're experiencing for the clinic, they can't keep their vaccines cold because the refrigerator is not working, and operations are delayed or are moved back due to lack of fuel. And the fuel cost eat into the medical budget. The kids are also struggling in school, so they cannot learn during the cold or rainy seasons. There's no heat in the schools, and they also cannot see during in the evenings and nighttime. They cannot study. The environment as well is being impacted by the smoke from the diesel pollutes, and this is causing some health issues for the kids particularly, and the fuel spills and fumes from the nearby farms and the water sources. So that will be scenario 1 for the Anglophone group. And then scenario 2 for the Francophone group is based on a semi-urban community in the outskirts of Yaoundé, and the families are paying high bills for unreliable power providers. So the power comes in, goes out, but the bill remains high. Meanwhile, they hear that the government has signed another loan to fund fossil fuel infrastructure. So there's no transparency on how the energy budget is being spent. So some of the challenges the community is facing is the high electricity tariffs and rates that they have to pay despite the poor services. So the electricity is unreliable, but they're still expected to pay high costs. Fuel subsidies is really draining the national budget, and the government is not looking to fund renewables. There's also no representation of community voices in the energy budget decisions, which is very important. And also, the youth unemployment has been highly impacted because there's no jobs, there's no green jobs, there's no green sector anywhere for the community. So we're going to be building on these two scenarios, and then after the session, it will be about 20-25 minutes for each group. We'll come back, share some highlights from each group, and then break out this or end this session. I hope that was clear. And Kristen and I will be in each of the group, so we'll be helping and we'll be supporting with the action planning or to clarify anything that needs clarification or needs support. Okay, I think that's clear. Any questions, we'll just answer them in the group. Rukia, do you mind creating the groups?
So there'll be two groups. One will stay in the main session with a mix of Francophone and Anglophones alongside our interpreter Kiki. And then there'll be another group that will be purely Anglophone. So I'll move people now.
Okay.
You should see it pop on your screen, so please accept. If you're staying in this main room, make sure, whether you're Anglophone or Francophone, make sure you're connecting to the interpretation globe so that we can all hear each other. Yes, before we proceed. Great, over to you, Christian.
Thank you, Rukia. So, people, ça a été fait. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui voudrait partager là-bas? S'il n'y a personne, je peux le faire. Hein? I can do it. Mais s'il y a quelqu'un qui veut compléter, ce serait avec plaisir. Merci beaucoup. On se retrouve dans la salle. Ne partez pas. On se retrouve parce qu'il y a encore des nouvelles à partager. We still have some good news to share. So please don't leave the meeting now. Stay until the end. Thank you. Welcome back from the breakout sessions. We are now in the main room where we have everyone, and we are going to hear from your discussions in the main room, in your breakout rooms, I wanted to say. So we only have 5-6 minutes now to share. So we're going to give only 2 minutes to each from each group to share the very key takeaway from the discussions that you had in your breakout session. in your breakout rooms. So from the Anglophone room, who want to share? As we are waiting for Lynn to come in. Do we have a representative person from the Anglophone group to share what you guys discussed? Sorry for the internet issue we are facing. Okay, Lynn is back. I was asking the Anglophone group to share.
Oh,
But
oh, sorry.
we only have 5 minutes, so 2 minutes per group. Only 2 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know who's sharing from our group. David, Aniedi, Irene. Who did we?
Aniedi will do.
Aniedi.
You say what? I was in your group actually.
Aniedi or David?
It's David.
Okay.
Okay, I'm here. David, are you going to do?
Nah, you just go ahead because you have been the main man of the show all along. So let's just carry
No,
it to you.
that's not true. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. In
Welcome.
our group, we name our organization Group 1, and the country of reference is Ghana, and the contact and details of phone number, we are many, so we didn't take any. And the project name we took was Operation Solar for Clean Environment. Clean and green environment. And we also had diesel for solar. Then the vision is light up the environment, promote clean and green environment for good health, for future for all with green accessible energy. What needs to change was based on the problems we've identified, we now need environmental change, clean vicinity and restoration. We need good branding and operational effectiveness. We need smooth and efficient operation. And also what needs to change was lack of access to clean energy needs to change. So it has to be affordable and accessible by everybody. Then how can we create this change? We say by implementing our vision, investing in solar, phasing out fossil fuel, engage in local leadership, that is stakeholders engagement, and also making this solar accessible to the community by bringing government attention to it. So who can help? We talked about community youth, government, local government and national government, CSO, CBOs, religious organizations, and leaders and private companies operating within the environment. And then we talk about the influences. We said most communities are influenced by community leaders, religious leaders, and even youth leaders. And then we talk about the trends, relationship, and events. And we said what could shift. It is the mining of fossil fuel companies. Those can also reduce the impact in the environment. And we talked about the school and community and the clinic. And our goal was a healthy and clean and green environment. And then they said SMART objective. What was our objective? Our objective there was to be able to, one, phase out fossil fuel and make the environment clean, green, and a livable environment, and the clinic to be good for all. And then we talk about key demands. We say our demand is to ditch fossil fuel for clean and green energy. And then the expected outcomes will be a healthy environment for all, and then affordable green and clean energy. Then they said indicators for success, we are going to sensitize the community very well and ensure that it is a community-based approach that we are going to use, and that will make the progress. That's the success indicators. How will you know what the project was successful? Yes, we are going to go back there for feasibility, for a follow-up. And then what's the story? The story is that the key element and the new narrative is that the solar powered environment is healthy. It doesn't have pollution, and even if it has, it's minimal and it's healthy for all. So what do people need to do? The people need to sensitize the environment, and they need to also invest in solar energy, and government need to also sensitize. So sensitization is for people to move from the diesel and fossil fuel and go to clean energy, which is solar, that they don't need to invest so much in it. What do we need to do? Key activities. We have said that we are going to sensitize, educate, and also invest, and assumptions. And we are also going to educate the environment, because there is going to be means and assumption. This will do this, so we need to also sensitize them. And there is no risk, what we have learned in this solar energy as at this point. So this plan will not fail if we have investors coming in to invest in this project, either government or NGOs or private companies. And tracking and measuring, we will have to do a follow-up in this. And our budget is going to be a $25,000 for each project. And for the two projects, we will need $50,000 to go for it. And we will also need partnership. By partnership, it means that we have to partner with the youth, with the women, so that they will be able to protect these projects against vandalism. And the action plan is okay. So we are going to bring about community policing. They will be involved, and the community security, and we are going to pay them. They are not going to do it free of charge. We will pay them. And please, this action plan is not an indication of confirmed financial support from 350. We are saying that with this project, a 350,000 US dollars will be enough to scale up to other projects in the community, like giving them solar powered water, borehole, and other things. It will extend to other things. Thank you so much. Group one, I hope I've tried.
You have done well.
Well
Thank
done. Amazing.
Thank you.
Lynn, open your mic, please.
Thank you so much, Aniedi. You captured everything very well. I would really appreciate you. And thank you so much to the rest of the group one. Everyone was very engaged and we had a lot of laughs and discussions and debates. We actually didn't finish all our discussions because of time, but everyone was very engaged and passionate about getting their views on the project plan. Back to you, Christian.
Yes, thank you, Lynn. That is very interesting part of this action plan of developing the action plan debate. That's great. From the Francophone group, we also had very good discussion. We talked about the campaign, the challenges, and what we want to see in the coming days in terms of actions. I am not going to share my screen. You can just share the canvas, the action plan, the same one, the same that you shared previously, and I'm going to talk through what we discussed. The Francophone group we discussed. Our name, we are Francophone people. So just Francophone, and our project, our campaign name is Find Our Future Through Renewable Energy. You see, and in terms of vision, we didn't really discuss the vision, but we heard from groups that we should call on the government to create with the people as well from the network, the movement, to create an RE company, society that hires young people because of the young unemployment as one of the challenges that we discussed. What need to change? What need to change? We said that investment in fossil fuels need to change. That's our main focus. We need to stop that. We need to ask more investment in solutions in renewable energy. So that need to change. How we can create the change through advocacy campaign to find our future, online and offline activities, online and offline actions to promote renewable energy sources. Very important to insist and emphasize, highlight the fossil fuels solutions, alternatives to power our community, to give electricity to our people. We also talked about how we can engage with the private sector. You see, it is something that we tend to forget, engagement with the private sector. In some countries, it works well to engage with private sector in the sector of the renewable energy as well, and also engagement with the government on policies to remove the barriers to the renewable energy uptake, and now to have in place policies that really promote renewable energy. And in terms of who can help, we said that communities first, diaspora people can also help on that. We can tap into the diaspora work, the diaspora people, and local mayors, influencers, artists can also be good people to work with. And in terms of messages, we want to focus on green job for young people from clean energy. Because when we talk about green job, we talk without policy, we touch economy, and we touch what is really important for our society, for our community, because we know that Africa has young population, and that young population, they don't have job. So we need to highlight that we need green job for young people from clean energy in Africa, starting from Cameroon, Yaoundé, where we took our case from. And in terms of story, we need to highlight the young employment, unemployment. We need to highlight that. We need to insist on policies, as I said, call on the regional institution to invest more in renewable energy to make people have access to that. And yeah, through mobilizations, media engagement, parliament member engagement with the parliament members, and also engagement with faith leaders. That's also something that the group discussed about. That's it from the discussion that we had with the Francophone people. Thank you, Lynn. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Christian. So definitely great discussions. And we thank you all once again for participating and contributing in your respective groups. So we've gone a bit beyond time by 11 minutes. So we'll do a quick close of the session. And we're going to just touch on the next steps and what to look out for. So if you have not registered on the AV group, please make sure that you do so. You can have a look at our website. There's a link to how you can register. If you still need assist, please reach out to either me, Christian, or Rukia, and we'll walk you through how to register your group. Materials and the recordings of this session and all the other sessions that we've had will be shared on email. So keep a lookout for that. And make sure that you encourage all your team members to register for the next session as well, so that they can be part of the Africa VUCA Skill Ups cohort too. It's still not too late. They can always join anytime. So as I said, have a look at our website. There's so much happening. As you know, we have a big mobilization moment happening. There's always events happening around the Repower campaign, which is our main campaign, and all the details are always shared on the Africa VUCA network. So that's a way you can keep in touch and keep updated with everything that's happening on the ground. And also, please have a look at our social media and follow us on all social medias and the Africa VUCA network. So we thank you so much for joining the session, for participating. The session would not have been a success without your participation and your engagement. We hope that you learned a lot and were inspired from all our discussions to go into your work deeper, to create action plans, use the template. If there's still any more questions or you seek clarity on the action plan, how to create an action plan, how to develop it, please feel free to reach out to us. We're always available to you guys. I think Rukia shared our email and our contact on the chat. So feel free to reach out. We are here to support anytime. So thank you so much, everybody. We hope that the lesson today was inspiring to your work and to the communities that you guys are all leading. And we'll see you in the next 2 weeks for the next session. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.